Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Monday, May 4th, 2020. Big story this morning, the death of NFL great coach for the Miami Dolphins, Don Shula, passed away at age 90. And once again, it's an age where no one will question the death. But what I'm going to show you in this video is why you're reading about this man's death on Monday, May 4th, at this age. And again, you can only see through these riddles if you know the simple code of Gematria, which is based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. If you watched my work on the NFL draft, I talked about Miami and 45 and why it could make sense for Tua to go there in light of this number 45. And here we are on the date that's written 4/5 like 45 in the majority of the world. Notice this Miami coach, Miami with the alphabetic order sums to 45. Very simple code. M's the 13th letter, I's the 9th, A's the 1st, M's the 13th, I's the 9th. You add it up, 45. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse, making Z1 back to A is 26, Miami adds up to 90. So Don Shula dead at 90 on 4/5 is the Miami NFL legend. A couple of other things that stand out about today. Today's date numerology is 49. NFL equals 49. Super Bowl also equals 49. America's 49. They call it America's game, the NFL. The word Scottish is also 49, as in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. American football is credited to the Scottish Rite Freemason Walter Camp. And that matters because Freemasonry is based in Kabbalah, and that's where this code of letters and numbers comes from. In Kabbalah's Book of Formation, it's stated that God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. Today's date numerology also has a 29 connection. Football's 29. Don Shula lost his first wife in 1991, 29 years ago. Of course, in numerology, 29 is 2 plus 9 is 11. Like football is a game of 11 on 11. Don Shula, he died 121 days after his 90th birthday, which was January 4th. 121 has a square root of 11. The term blood sacrifice equals 121. We recently talked about this number with the death of Terry Glenn and his son, who both died in connection to this number. Outside of the NFL, this number shows up a lot in suspicious deaths. Just actually talked about it yesterday with the death of Keogh of the Oakland Athletics. So he died 121 days after his birthday. You could also say he died on his 122nd day of his age. The difference is counting the date January 4th in the count, because it's either 121 days after or his 122nd day of his age. That matters because Don Shula equals 122 and National Football League equals 122. Now, remember, Don Shula is the only coach to oversee a perfect season, which concluded in January of 1973 with Super Bowl VII. Notice his full name, Donald Francis Shula. What's considered our most pure cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. His full name sums to 73. If you run it in reverse, it's 107, like the term ritual sacrifice is 73 and 107. But in light of the perfect season, which concluded in 1973, with the alphabetic order, perfect is 73. And again, if you use this code of letters and numbers, you can go back through every single Super Bowl in history and see why the certain team won it that year, why the coach won it, how it was rigged and scripted. Because the NFL is athletic theater, has been ever since the first Super Bowl. Notice the date Don Shula won it, January 14th, 1973. That was a date with 107 numerology. Again, his full name, Donald Francis Shula, 107. Now a ritual sacrifice, 107. Again, the NFL is a perfect script. When you know this code, you can see through the rituals. And again, not even knowing the code, you can just pick up on things. Look at how USA Today, look at what they put in the background. Don Shula's face, the player Dennis, and you can see the jersey number that's behind him, 74. What was the year that Don Shula won his last Super Bowl? 1974. He won the Super Bowl in 73 and 74, so they got to put a 74 right there, USA Today. And don't forget, USA Today is the same publication that wrote a feature-length article about me before Super Bowl 50. And why did they do that? To try to discredit me because I had called everything correctly about Super Bowl 50 in October of that season. Again, in October, before the Broncos beat the Panthers. I said in October, early in the season, why the Broncos would beat the Panthers, why the game would be a tribute to Super Bowl 24. Of course, the Broncos ended up winning with 24 points. I said why there would be a Black Panther tribute at the game. Beyonce got criticized in the mainstream for dressing up as a Black Panther along with her backup dancers. And I said why Von Miller would be the MVP, which was really easy to understand, knowing that he wore number 58 and Cam Newton was going to become the 58th quarterback to start in a Super Bowl, which just made too much sense because that Super Bowl was in the Bay Area where the Black Panther Party was founded by Huey P. Newton, a name that in Gematria sums to 58, like Oakland. Again, it's all perfect ritual in the NFL. If you remember Super Bowl 50, Cam Newton had the ball stripped from his hands and it landed right on his feet, and he just stared at it like he'd never seen a football before until Denver's defense picked it up. Again, it's all scripted. These guys are just going through the motions, and I'm sure that ball was supposed to roll away a little bit further to make the script a little bit less obvious, but they know most NFL fans are completely drunk after halftime, so no one will probably notice. Anyway, from the 1973 perfect season, which is pretty much what every article is about today, how he's the only coach who had a perfect season, from 1973 to now is 47 years and some change. Remember, the first Super Bowl season was in the 47th season of the NFL. We just talked about this number in a big way yesterday, like we do every single day. The reason the first, if you missed my video on Secretariat winning the virtual Kentucky Derby, 47 years after he won the actual race, winning it on a 47-date numerology and being the only horse in the race with 47 gematria. Check that video out. Again, the horse races are another thing we've dominated by understanding this knowledge because all of sports is rigged and scripted by this code, undeniably. But anyway, 47 years ago, the perfect season, the first Super Bowl in the 47th season of the NFL, and why? Again, it's all Freemasonry. Freemasonry's compass and square out of the Scottish Rite of France. Scottish Rite Freemason founded the NFL, Walter Camp, who went to Yale and was likely a member of Skull and Bones. But the 47 degrees are in tribute to the 47th problem of Euclid, which is about establishing foundation for a structure. And that's why this nation's birthday is the 4th day of the 7th month. The word foundation's 47. So what's the foundation of this world is time. Time is 47. Like the tropics of this earth are set 47 degrees apart. So 47 years after his perfect season, dead by the numbers, today he's being referred to as an NFL legend. Seen this ritual before, Legend 47. Kobe Bryant died earlier this year on a 47-date numerology. He was referred to as a legend. He told Tracy McGrady early in his career he wanted to die young so he could be immortalized as a legend. 47 again and again. And there are a number of other things that are interesting here. You can read through the article, practice your skills. Some things will definitely jump out at you, like how articles bring up how he began his high school football career back in 1945. Now he's dead on the 4-5 date, Miami 45. I was just talking to you about Miami in 45 with the NFL draft. And again, just so you can understand how repetitive the numbers are, Matt Keogh, he was my last post before the death of Don Shula, and we just talked about how he died on May 1st, which is typically the 121st day of the year. And Matt Keogh's 121 like blood sacrifice. Now the next day, Don Shula died 121 days after his birthday. And the day Matt Keogh died, May 1st, 2020, was a date with 46 numerology. Sacrifice is 46. Remember, his daughter just lost her baby on April 6th, 4-6. You could also write that date 6-4, like 64. Now her father's dead at 64, kills 64. Again, it's just the same numbers, the same repetitive patterns all throughout the world of celebrity. You learn this code, you see through what's really going on. Entertainment's controlled by sick, dark occultists, and this is how they operate every single day. This Matt Keogh, not only did he die at 64, but he died a span of 64 days from his birthday. Remember, the word kills 64. If you don't count the span, he died 63 days before his birthday. Major League 63 and Major League Baseball 63. And I might do a separate video on this later because there's more to it, including Kyle Bosworth, how he relates to this. And again, just the significance of 47. Secretariat. Only horse in the race with 47 Gematria wins the virtual race 47 years after actually winning. Secretariat 47 on a 47 date numerology. Again, it's all ritual. The one thing I could say about Don Shula is he's lucky to have lived to 90, because you see how many of these athletes and coaches and stars in this world of entertainment, they die very young. And the next thing I'll be looking into is this headline this morning. Katie Groves dead at age 30. Stars pay tribute to this little girl's singer-songwriter. 30. Not very old. Until next time, Truth Seeker.